But first, we've got a married power couple. She's the singer-songwriter slash Emmy-nominated slash Golden Globe-nominated star of This Is Us. And he's the singer-songwriter from Dawes, with a brand new album out this month. Please welcome Mandy Moore and Taylor Goldsmith in conversation with my governor from California, Gavin Newsom.
Well, thank you so much, Governor, for joining us today. We are proud Californians. We're so excited to talk to you. Yeah. We had a laundry list of questions, but we sort of narrowed it down a little bit for your sake.
Thank you.
But I mean, just to sort of jump right out of the gate. Obviously, I've been doing a little bit of research on you as well, and your sort of early activism and enthusiasm around climate change and for the environment. Seems like it was sort of a family matter from your grandfather and your father. I even read some story about how you had a pet otter named Potter.
Otter the otter. Yeah, you guys have a cat or a dog. I had a river otter.
That's so cool. Super normal. And obviously you've recently signed an executive order requiring California to only sell zero emission passenger cars by 2035. You signed the 30/30 plan to protect 30% of California's land and coastal waters. I mean, as California residents, obviously with climate change being top of mind and sort of the historic fire season that we're living through right now, we live in Pasadena, sort of right on the edge of the San Gabriel Mountains. My brother-in-law, Taylor's brother, has a cabin up in the San Gabriel Mountains, and he is actually considering maybe potentially selling the cabin because of those concerns about fire and fire insurance and property value and all of that. So I guess our question is, for these California communities who are near these fire zones, what would you say to reassure people about our homes being safe, and then just, I guess, more broadly speaking, to residents who are concerned about the future of climate change sort of impeding on their day-to-day lives?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is the smash mouth realities of climate change are here. It's not an intellectual exercise. For Californians, you may not even believe in science, but you got to believe your own eyes.
Yeah.
Hots are getting hotter, dries are getting a lot drier, wets are getting a lot wetter. These atmospheric rivers that come in, and we have unprecedented amount of rain in a very short period of time. But the facts are the facts. We just had the hottest September in recorded human history worldwide, the hottest August in California recorded history, and arguably, the jury's still out, the hottest recorded temperature on planet Earth, 130 degrees in California's own Death Valley just 2 months ago. I mean, the fact of the matter is, as a coastal state, as a state with some of the most majestic redwoods in these asbestos forests that have never burned, we are experiencing things we've never imagined, or at least things that some imagined, but imagine 20, 30, 40 years from now, and now they're taking place today. And so we have a responsibility, to answer your question, to deal with those realities in the immediate, which is prevention and better suppression strategies, to address the insurance issues, to address this wildland urban interface, and to make sure we have zones where we can protect households and people, ingress, egress, emergency planning, alert systems, and making sure that we're much more aggressive in our vegetation and forest management. At the same time, you're gonna have a kid next year. I got 4 young children. The oldest just turned 11. And if we're gonna leave anything to them in the future, then we have to sprint in the future and future-proof California by decarbonizing our economy, by decarbonizing our air and our drinking water. And California does it better than anybody else, and we're just winding up. And I really feel resolved that this election is, and I hate when politicians say this, literally the most consequential election when it comes to the issue of climate change and the fate and future of our kids and grandkids, and our ability to get something meaningful done to make sure we stabilize the ravages of Mother Nature.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear you say that. And then another question we had, to switching into COVID-19, you've been a real leader from the jump, and we actually made a habit early on of watching your daily press conferences in the beginning because,
I love it.
leadership and direction was something that we craved and we weren't getting a lot of, and you were providing that. And we knew we were in capable hands, and it was really reassuring. But I've been having conversations with my band and crew about how we're all struggling to see a future in which we can get back to touring for a living, whether it's due to venues not surviving the pandemic or changing venue capacities or people's willingness to congregate. It starts to feel like there won't be the same, that like magic vaccine moment that brings the world back to what it used to be. How have you been seeing people prepare for the future in smart and positive ways? And what are the most realistic expectations of vaccines' effects on our lives and industries?
Well, it's a great question. And it's, by the way, deeply timely question, because we are about to submit to the CDC California's vaccination plan. We're one of 6 states that's literally pilot states working hand in glove with the CDC to organize the protocols, processes, and procedures to make sure we equitably apply our strategies to more timely measures to get to first responders, healthcare workers, and into our diverse communities, the vaccine when it is made available. Here's the stubborn challenge, and here's the answer to your question. We anticipate in the next month or so to get a few million doses of vaccine. Every dose represents 1/2 of individual, meaning 2 doses per person over a 21-day period.
Oh, wow.
So you have to have 2 shots for the first phase of what we believe will be the first available vaccine. There'll be many different types coming later on. But we're within a few months of seeing some real traction there for a very small percentage of people. We'll see every month an increase in the total number of available vaccines, but again, prioritizing our skilled nursing facilities, prioritizing those that truly are on the front lines every single day, and those with comorbidities and those that clearly should be front of line. But to get to the scale, and we were talking to Dr. Fauci the other day as well about this, realistically, we're looking at March of next year, April, where we can start seeing more widespread distribution of the vaccine, and then getting to some place that's approximate to the world you just described that we're so desperate to get back into, still with modifications, but a semblance of normalcy that will remind us that this is not a permanent state. And by the way, it's not a permanent state. Sure. We're going to get through this, and truly, I don't think this, I know it. We are going to be more resilient as human beings, as a state, as a nation moving forward. But it is going to be trying, because I think people kind of had it. We're exhausted. Can't take another week, day, month. And the idea that even next spring, we're still going to be dealing with this is a struggle, I know, for all of us, including for those of you that count on making a living, and more importantly, want to be, entertaining people and bringing people back together, feeling a sense of, distilling a sense of well-being and enlivening people and, entertaining people and educating people and, giving people opportunities. So we're moving as fast as we can. We're going to do it safely and responsibly, and we're not going to do it on a political timeline. Just not. We're going to do it the right way.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So glad you're at the helm here. You just spoke about how consequential this election is, and I'm with you. I don't think it's hyperbolic at all. We're in a real do or die state right now. You were the first governor to implement sending mail-in ballots to all registered voters here in California. We've always voted by mail. We've already voted. We're super excited. Do you feel like California, and I guess the country as a whole, is really ready for this kind of historic election, considering that there are, going to be so many mail-in ballots? And also, what protocols have you put in place to sort of, ensure the sanctity of the vote on election day?
Boy, great. Again, great questions. I appreciate it. Here's the good news is that there's been a trend line for years and years, more and more people voting by mail, absentee ballots, more and more early voting all across the country in blue states and red states, more and more protocols in place for accountability and transparency, including the ability for you to track where your ballot is in the process, which few people know. Barcodes, there's signature verification processes. We take this very, very seriously. The majority of people now already doing some form of early voting. And so you're right, we're doing now at scale. And we already sent out last week to every active registered voter. They now have already in their mailbox the ability to do early voting like the two of you have. You also have in-person options and alternatives. And you have the ability still to register and be able to go online, not just do that in person, and other mechanisms and means to which we can make it easier, not just guaranteeing the sanctity of the vote collection process. By the way, on that, through an executive order and then legislation that followed up, we're allowing people, as long as it's postmarked on election day, which is fundamental. There's a date, you got to get it in by that date. But we're giving ourselves 18 days to actually make sure we count everything because of the mishigas that we may experience with, respectfully, some of those in Washington, D.C., and others that truly don't want every vote counted because they're scared to death that if everybody expresses themselves through a democratic process, that they may be on the losing end of that. We are of a different point of view. Let the chips fall where they may. Everybody has a right, and I would argue responsibility, to vote. And we want to make sure if you do, that we respect that. And regardless of who you voted for, or what you voted for or against, whatever your party affiliation, that we guarantee that sanctity of that expression of citizenship, and your voice is heard. And so we are committed to that.
Great. That is very nice to hear.
Well, we were just curious if there was any any bands or records that folks would be surprised that you're a big fan of.
I mean, I don't know if we'd be surprised, but you just literally triggered this to me. Last night we're having dinner, my daughter, and she started hearing a song and she goes, okay, that's it. And she threw down her thing and she said, and I'm torturing them with Frank Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
She knows every sing. She starts singing. She's like, we're done with this. Dad, I can't do it anymore. We're finished. She literally just, so yeah, I've been obsessed. I'm obsessed. I got my Frank Sinatra essentials on the outdoor speakers, indoor speakers.
Nice.
Torturing everyone. I'm using old CD players. She don't even know what a damn CD is. You don't even know where to find it. She's like, where's the Sonos? Where's this?
Yeah.
It's important to start them on the classics.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I
That's
feel
solid.
like that's something we'll have to incorporate.
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
I know. You have to send us a playlist.
Yeah.
I will. No, it's a little much. It's a little much right now. I'll tell you, these kids though, they got some interesting musical taste. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
I can't even imagine.
I can't wait for your kid. I can't wait. Interesting what you produce in this place.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time, Governor.
It's such a pleasure.
Such an
and
honor.
Yeah.
No,
Thank
give me a
you.
break. I'm honored, and I really appreciate both of you. And keep doing what you're doing. It's just awesome. You guys are active and engaged and give a damn and participating. It's awesome.
You know what?
Right
There's too much at stake to sit on the sidelines. We all have to sort of step up and use whatever platform we have. And so, yeah, we're psyched to do just that.
Oh, it's awesome. I remember I'll close with this. I was listening to some of the Supreme Court stuff today, and there's a wonderful Supreme Court Justice, Justice Brandeis, who said, in a democracy, and I just reread this and I love the quote, in a democracy, the most important office is office of citizen. And it's important to remember because we're waiting for the guy or gal on the white horse to come save the day. But really at the end of the day, it's active, not inert citizenship. It's people participating and giving a damn and getting engaged, and not just on election day, but after election day. Because democracy is not just voting once every 2 or 4 years. It's about being damn involved in the life of your city, nation, state. And so I just hope, I hope we can keep this going and keep doing what you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
You
Right
will.
on. Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Governor.
Thanks, guys.